Welcome to episode 2 of season 3 of Tight 10 at Warp 10. I'm
Season
John
3
Childers,
already.
your games master, still on the tee.
And this is Chris Ashworth. Every character, 7 different characters this time around.
So this is like that film Split.
Yeah.
James McAvoy. You're James McAvoy. There's the end of this kind of quest is going to be you've died in space and they find your mummified remains and you're the only person that was operating the ship.
Wait, is that not Moon? I never actually seen Split, but I've seen Moon, and that's just as as fucking. Or the movie Identity, even though
Identity's a cracking film.
Even though saying that is a spoiler for that film.
Absolutely. We were talking about Identity recently because we were talking about we've got a mutual friend. I won't name because he doesn't deserve to be named. We've got a mutual friend. He doesn't watch this. He doesn't deserve to be named. But we've got a mutual friend that was talking about Identity, and I think he spoke to both of us about it kind of simultaneously. And then we were talking about Identity. I went, "So was that?" And it was like, we should probably just get a 3-way chat with him going.
Yeah, I mean, he's potentially going to be coming with us to see Gojira in February. Other bands are available.
I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to see the old 9 Inch Nails in a couple of weeks. Looking forward to that.
Oh, aye. That's
Last time I saw them was the Hydro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So because this is at the O2, I think I actually think they suit the O2 a wee bit better.
Yeah, I think the last show I watched was at the Hydro as well, but I can't remember who the fuck. It might have been Alt J. I can't remember if that was the last. I can't remember if that was the last show I saw. I saw Tim Minchin there as well.
Definitely the last time I was there was pre-pandemic.
Oh yeah, me too. I haven't been to a show since before the pandemic.
Mm. I've been to some bits and bobs. Does dinner laughter in me Graham Stewart count?
I always remember in what was it? Fuck, who was it? Your fellow that did I Am Fighter, Colin Geddes. He did him and his buddy improvised. They were talking about like a club night in I think it was Belfast or like Lurgan or something, and it's like, oh, and now we've got bits and bobs. That is our disabled dancer. Pretty harsh, like.
Absolutely. But anyone who's watching,
not yet. No, just nobody watch this back. That's not my joke as well. That's Colin Geddes' jokes. We've got a problem with it. Go and talk to Colin Geddes.
Exactly. We don't condone the joke. We did find it funny, but
yeah, it doesn't mean just because we laughed, right? Kids can be little shits, and it makes me laugh. It doesn't mean I want them to be little shits.
Yeah,
but it's really funny when a kid just pushes another kid over for no reason.
Well, Morgan said something at dinner time because we were going over some kind of maths homework she's got, and she said a phrase that just slipped out. I won't repeat it on air, but I just went, I'm sorry, it just slipped in. I went, you still shouldn't be saying stuff like that to your pals. You can't use those words to describe.
I realised I also fucked that joke up because it was amputee dancer. So is that worse or better? I don't even know.
I don't know. We'll find out
when the comments come in. Yeah.
Find out in the comments. But so she made this comment. I was trying to do this thing where I was like, A, trying not to laugh. B, remembering that I used to say stuff like that when I was in school. And C, just saying, you just need to be a wee bit nicer to yourself.
Yeah.
and D, stop saying phrases like that because they're just slightly offensive to somebody.
Yeah.
Everybody's desperate to know what she said now, but I can't tell you.
You can tell me after the stream.
I'll tell you after the stream. And if you do join us on our Patreon account, you can find out as well. Pay top dollar for the offensive content.
Yeah, that Patreon account is pending a ban right now.
I know. We need to move on to OnlyFans.
I'm sure there's got to be some strict content control on OnlyFans. I mean, not super strict.
I don't imagine it would be super strict.
That's got to be a tough job, being the, I don't know what you call it, the standards and practices guy for OnlyFans.
I don't know. I've been applying left, right, and centre.
It's just because you got to thumb through that much content of being like, is this okay? I don't know if this is okay or not. It doesn't make me feel good, but I don't know if it's banned.
It makes me simultaneously feel good and feel really bad about myself.
Yeah, right after. There's a lot of deleted accounts on OnlyFans for people that went on, paid some money, and then immediately ended and cancelled their subscription, and got to their bed that night. What is wrong with me?
Scrubbing themselves. Just gonna... So I mean, you won't get anything like that on our stream tonight, even though tonight's episode is actually called Lust in Space.
Lost in Space,
Lost in Space, which is a play on the sci-fi show Lost in Space.
That's slightly weird considering a member of the crew is a dog.
Yep. Well, I mean, let's find out together. But
I mean, it's definitely par for the course with my comedy when I was still a comedian.
The blurb, because I realise that because you're not on Facebook and whatnot, you don't see the blurb. But the blurb for this episode is called Lost in Space. But it's probably just a bit of a pun. You've got no intention of sexing the episode up in any way, shape, or form. If it helps, then imagine the ship is phallic shaped or something. Go to town.
Aren't all of them?
This one is.
Do you ever see they invented a round like battleship? And the problem with that was as soon as you fired a gun, it just span. Because
That's
they thought
why
it would be great.
aliens come in peace.
Yeah. You ever seen that picture? It was a kid who submitted it to their class in school of Buzz Lightyear, and he didn't know how to spell very well, so it just said, "I'm Buzz Lightyear. I come in pies."
Buzz Lightyear. I love that. I remember sending those on. To weirdly enough, I don't know why I'm bringing this up now, but there was loads of them, and I sent them all on to my mum. Years and years ago, I sent them on to my mum, and most of them were like hilarious. But it was when I read it back and just went to come in pies. So I was going, did I really want to send that to my mum? I'm Buzz Lightyear, I come in pies.
That reminds me of that Anthony Jeselnik joke where he accidentally sent a picture of his, like a sex pic of his girlfriend naked to his mom, and he's like, "Oh my god, mom, I'm so sorry. You weren't meant to get that. That was just for dad."
Oh dear.
I love his specials. Like as time goes on, it's one of the only people I can go back to for jokes about like fucking dogs and things like that.
Classics.
Yeah, you got to write about what you love.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm more of a cat person.
Yeah.
As I've discovered during lockdown. Read into that what you will. We've just lost viewers. Thanks very much, Chris.
Which viewers?
They're just talking about.
Not the Anthony Jeselnik fans, and that's the ones that I want to stay in.
So, for anyone that didn't watch last week, we're doing the quest Starship Traveller. And as Chris rightly said, and everyone off on like the most bizarre kind of tangents that we do, he's playing 7 characters. Obviously, your main character is the captain, but you will have control of 7 other characters. Now, what we could have done is gotten 7 comedian friends in to play all of those roles, and you could have gone back and forward. But then I'd have felt really bad as they one by one will get killed off, and then we just say, "I'm really sorry, you need to go now," and then like.
And also, they might want to get paid.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because we do this for fun.
You're paying for no comedians to do it. I'll do it all myself.
Do it all yourself. You can do it. You need to come up with a variety of kind of characters and accents for them.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
The more kind of slightly racist caricatures, the better.
Well, luckily in my head, I haven't gone for anything that I would need to. But in my mind, Captain Tarkin is an octogenarian, so that might that might get our viewers if they can figure out, our older viewers if they can figure out how to log into StreamYard.
Absolutely, there'll be the ageism is rife. Are you going to kind of go kind of Patrick Stewart type? Oh,
No, I was gonna go like elderly librarian.
excellent. Because Patrick Stewart, obviously, I know you haven't watched any Star Trek, which amazes me. But Patrick Stewart, Star Trek Next Generation came out in 1987, and of course, they've got a new series of his character out right now in 2022. So some time has passed, as you can
Yeah.
imagine. This has
What
been
age
like,
is Patrick Stewart now?
well, this is the bit I was going to get to. Patrick Stewart looked old in the original run.
I'm
Patrick
not
Stewart
looking
looked
this
like an
up.
old man in 1987, and looks like a not much older man now.
He is, in fact, an octogenarian. He's 81.
That's why I brought it up. But during Star Trek Next, so if he's 81 now, during Star Trek Next Generation, he must have been what? Bloody hell, mid-40s,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
and he
So
looked
yeah, he
he
didn't
looked like
look.
an old man then.
Yeah, he did. He's always sort of looked like an old.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was good. Then I've seen Patrick Stewart in a few things, but the character that he played recurringly in American Dad remains one of the most bizarre and inspired performances.
so, well,
It's
what I like
absolutely
it.
ridiculous.
Yeah, he is, and he basically the character looked like Patrick Stewart as well, didn't he?
Perfectly like him. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
just Patrick Stewart.
it was Patrick Stewart, and I think Seth MacFarlane, love him or loathe him, manages to get people like Patrick Stewart to do shit like that all the time.
Yeah, it's like regular show, that the
Yeah.
one I've mentioned it to you before, probably not on stream, but for some reason, somehow, even though it was just two guys, like straight, they basically got recruited for a film they did at a college called 2 in the AM PM, which was about a cashier at a 24-hour garage during the night shift, and the other dude that was on the night shift with him dropping acid during the night shift, and the characters that appear as a result of the acid trip end up being characters in regular show, and they managed to get Mark Hamill to be in every episode of that show. I don't know how. It's just confirmed that Mark Hamill just loves acid.
But it is quite cool because I mean people like Patrick Stewart, Mark Hamill and stuff, they're cult characters. Mark Hamill has probably made a career from being in Star Wars and then just being in shit like that as a
Yeah.
consequence of being in
Well,
Star Wars.
I mean, he was also the Joker, which to me is a
Yeah,
more convincing performance than Luke Skywalker.
absolutely. But I mean, it was a Joker. It was the animated Joker, and some people say the best interpretation of the Joker that we've ever seen on screen as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
because
but-
he said he didn't want to do that. Tim Curry, by the way, was up for the role as well.
all right, okay,
It could
wow,
have been. Imagine how different that would have been.
absolutely.
But he said when he was in an interview and they were like, talking about him auditioning for the role, and he said, "Oh, I didn't want to do it because I'd been a Batman fan for so long that you sort of already have an idea of what the Joker sounds like in your head." And then the guy in the interview just went, "You realize that that is now your voice? Like
Absolutely.
everyone who pictures the Joker's voice pictures you." Some unbelievable man
Absolutely.
ascended.
No, you're absolutely right. But which brings me to my next thing. I know a lot of people have this. I've got this kind of horror of hearing my own voice,
Mhm.
which is why I never really kind of listen back to streams and stuff. And when people say, you need to record your comedy, it's the only way you're going to get better. And then I proceed to go, all right, I'll record it, but never listen to it. And it's because I don't like my voice. Imagine that if you really love the Joker, then you say, you're going to be the voice of the Joker. You do the voice of the Joker, you listen back to this, everyone goes, you're iconic in the role. And just laugh. You go, I can't do it. I can't.
Yeah, it's awful. Sounds terrible.
Jackie's just sent a message us saying she's so used to watching Johnny Depp case live, she thought that I was testifying.
Objection.
and my brother Andrew's just jumped on for a bit to watch our nonsense.
Ooh.
So I mean, I don't think Andrew likes the question bit, so we should just keep talking shite right now until he needs to go, and then we'll, because I think he said that the last time he said to me on the phone and just went, as soon as you started doing the quest, fucked off.
You mean the point for us being here?
Absolutely, the whole point for us being here.
It's not the point. The point is that it's fun to hang out with people online and talk
Absolutely,
pish.
that's it. Then we may
Especially,
as well film it. May as well
it's
film it.
basically like talking loudly on the bus. That's sort of the same. We probably get more people on the bus, but
Probably more viewers in the bus. Although the good thing about this is we do get a lot of kind of we get people watching live, and then we get a lot of people just kind of see it. And the thing, and this is the thing amazing. So because I got a breakdown of the kind of views, and we talked about it before, and the amount of people. I mean, like last week, for instance, I think we were nearly 2 hours. Now,
yeah.
who in their right mind sees that there's a stream that's now finished that lasted nearly 2 hours and thought, do you know what? I'll give that a watch. I can understand if you're just kind of going, oh look, John Carruthers and Chris Ashworth are on right now. I'll just pop in and see it. But who afterwards kind of goes, all right, I've got an hour and 54 minutes to kill.
That would be like going up to the bus driver at the end of the trip and being like, "Do you know that couple that was arguing loudly? Could you give me the CCTV footage of that? I'd like to watch that back."
Watch it back. And there's no sound, and you go, I don't care. I'll do the voices in my head.
Yeah, I'm gonna write it. This is an art piece. I'm a student.
Exactly. So you've got other people kind of going back and going, I love you, Francesca. I love you. Maybe that's what people are doing. Maybe they're just watching the video of us and they put the sound down and they're just sitting in a dark room, kind of going, "Hey, Chris."
Do you know? I actually wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if that was the case.
Do you know? As long as they're getting something out of it.
Yeah.
No, they don't need to tell us what they're getting out of it. We're not. You know, this isn't. I just want people to get something out of it. I don't need to know what. Don't put it in the comments.
Yeah, well, don't bother telling us because we won't read them back.
Winnie the Pooh onesie, just sitting there pleasuring themselves. But I mean,
a Winnie the Pooh onesie is just the top half of a onesie. So a Winnie the Pooh onesie is sitting naked in a tank top
with that red t-shirt that's too small for the doorbell rings. You go, what the fuck? I'm just
do you mind? I'm watching Type 10.
I'm watching two mediocre comedians try to make each other laugh.
And we've just gained a lot of viewers there.
We have absolutely. Again, if you go into our OnlyFans account, you can see a lot more skin than that.
Much more than that, yeah. If you watch our OnlyFans, there's an episode. I don't know how OnlyFans works. There's an episode where John completely lubes himself up, gets himself like a Beyblade, and just spins, sliding along the floor.
My brother has just his partner Kelly's watching, and I have to give her a shout out. Hi, Kelly.
Oh, okay. So I thought you said R. Kelly's watching.
R. Kelly's watching. R. Kelly might be watching. I don't know who. But hello, Kelly. Chris, you say hello, Kelly, as well, or else.
Hello, Kelly.
And
to your cousin R. Kelly.
Jackie has said as well. Everyone would watch that CCTV if it's available. So there you go. Just watch it back. Imagine though, there's certain bus routes that you would actually pay top money, especially in Glasgow. You'd be like, get me the footage for the 38.
I just remember my bus driver was losing his fucking mind today because someone stalled in front of him for the full duration of the green light. Like, they stopped and he was like, you see him raging. Especially because he was so early to our stop, and I later learned that this is because I think he was actually the previous bus and he was late.
Well, I used to work for a bus company. I think I've mentioned it before. Don't want to go into the details about how late they're allowed to be and how early they're allowed to be. I won't bore you with. I imagine
I'll
that
be honest,
a whole hour on bus timetables.
it's the early ones that really annoy me because I'll come out. It'll be like 7 in the morning, and I'll be out to get my bus, and then it just overtakes me and fucks off into the distance.
They can get fined for that.
Well, they've done it multiple times.
I said I wasn't going to talk about this. Now I'm going to. Right, there's certain buses during a timetable that are contractually obliged to be there at a certain time for whatever reason. If it's like part of a school run, or if it's something they're putting on for certain times of the day where old age pensioners are more inclined to kind of get on the bus, etc. So that there's kind of contracted times. Not all of the bus times are contracted. Maybe yours isn't, but at certain times of the day on certain routes, they're kind of contracted. And say if it's supposed to be there at 8:04, it can be up to 8 minutes late, but it can't be a minute early.
Really?
So if it's 8:04, they'll get fined if they drove off at 8:03.
Well, this guy drove off a full 5 minutes before. Yep. Like I go out early, so I don't miss him.
The flip side of that is, as a kind of everyday punter that's going for the bus, you don't know whether that's on contract or not. You can find out with freedom information requests and stuff. And there's stuff available online, but
this has made me remember a sketch.
Everyone's kind of going, "What are we watching?"
Yeah, details of the bus time. I'm sure we've had this before, but it's made me remember a sketch from Chewing the Fat where he's like he calls the guy into his office. It's in a bus terminal, and he calls one of the drivers into his office, and he's like, "Davey, I'm going to need you to take a look at this." And it's a CCTV footage at a bus stop of an old lady trying to get on the bus, and he just keeps driving a wee bit. So she like gets one leg on and he drives, and she falls, and then she gets back up and she goes to go on. He drives a wee bit more, and then he just speeds it off without letting her on. And the guy's like, "I'm going to have to ask for an explanation, Davey." And he goes, "John, that woman is reeking a pish." he just goes, "Fair enough." And they get up.
Brilliant. My brother's just said that my niece might be watching as well. My niece Alana might log in and watch as well. I would suggest that she waits until we've stopped the bus timetable stuff, or she might not get the kind of full feel of what we're trying to do here.
We should. Is there the your man that writes these write an adventure set on a bus?
He hasn't, but we should maybe just do an off-book one.
It's a magic school bus.
We should just make one up. I'll try and freestyle it. Not today. people have come on for a sci-fi epic today. We're 23 minutes in, and so that's what they've come for today. So I definitely don't think that I should try and freestyle a bus adventure today. But I'm not saying that I'm not going to do it in the future.
We'll absolutely do it in the future.
Because with my bus know-how
and my overactive imagination,
your overactive imagination, I've just, there's a lot of kind of sunlight coming in here. There's like a light above me, and I've just realised how bad my skin looks right now.
That is definitely not the first time you've got insecure about your own skin on this stream.
I'm very insecure about my skin. I've always been insecure. I've got really bad skin, but the difference is in the day-to-day, I spend my whole life not seeing myself.
Yeah, that's one of the perks of being a human.
One of the perks of being yourself is that you don't see yourself unless you kind of walk in front of a mirror or stuff. That's it doesn't matter how you look because you're always kind of looking out. I prefer to be a very unattractive man looking at very attractive people rather than the other way around.
I also just remembered something. It's a fucking, I can't remember what it was. One of those American talk shows. Was it Jimmy Kimmel? I think it was Jimmy Kimmel. Might have been the other guy. And there was they do like an NFL during the sort of draft for the NFL. They do. They get pictures of players up and they give them like fake awards. It's like it's like most they'll say like this player's got the most ran the most yards for this period, and one of them he was a dude who looked fucked, like he's like super angry, bald dude, no eyebrows, nothing, and it's like voted most likely to look the same without skin. It's like who even comes up with that? That's genius.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah, so I mean, I people have said that I exude a quiet confidence about me, and it's only when I'm not looking at myself because I forget what I look like. You just kind of go, John seems quite confident in himself, but it's not until I see myself that I just why
In
why
my experience, I will attest to the confident. I will not attest to the quiet.
exactly. I'd go as far as to say, John, I think you're quite arrogant.
I wouldn't say arrogant. Certainly not. I would definitely say not quiet. I mean, booming. I would say.
I think I've mentioned it. I think I've mentioned this before on the stream as well, just because my brother's on. I think I have mentioned it before. As I said, I never really listened back, so I've probably mentioned it like every week. But when we were growing up, I was the quiet one, and
That's
everyone
right.
thought
You
that
have mentioned.
Andrew was the kind of well, you know, they thought he was the kind of the the loud outgoing one, and I was the quiet one, and they were absolutely right. I would sit at home and well read shit like this.
Yeah, but
Uh,
what you were
thinking
doing there was building your
what I was
personality.
doing was building my personality, realizing that my personality works better if I'm not being influenced by other people. So I would sit on my own in a dark room, uh, in
Yeah,
a dark room because I couldn't see myself in a mirror, and I was just slowly building my confidence up until I became this arrogant hate machine.
till you had a bedrock, a solid bedrock of confidence built up.
And my confidence in myself and my abilities far outweighs any actual ability that I have.
That's the
And
best way to be.
absolutely, I'm just kind of going. In my head, there's nothing that I can't do. In fact, I bet you I can fly out of that third floor window. Let's try it
Please
now.
go for it.
But I mean, what?
You have to take the camera with you though, so we can see the impact.
because it's a live stream as well. Because that's the thing. Because if you were ever going to do it, right? If you were ever going to do it, you would live stream it because, like, if you just film it, you would break the camera. But if I
Yeah.
live streamed launching myself, I'm not saying like I reckon that if I did jump out that window, I'd probably break both my legs, right? I don't think it would kill me, right?
But yeah,
I think
provided you landed on your legs.
Irrespective of where I landed, I think I would break my legs.
No matter what.
No matter
Land
what,
on your head, legs just snap like spaghetti.
snap, and I go, ow.
If you were going to do that logistically, you'd have to have the stream sort of set up to some sort of cardiac monitor so it would end whenever you ended.
Absolutely, but the key would be to be holding the phone in such a way that, irrespective of how I impacted, I kept hold of the phone, but also showing my journey.
Yeah, your journey,
So,
your
so
truth.
you don't want to just see, and it would be quite short as well, because when you go at 32 feet per second, I'm going to pretty much the impact would be almost instantaneous.
You'd
Right?
be like a pizza.
Yeah, you wouldn't get much out of just me kind of going, and you see my face going, ah. So I think so. You need to position in such a, and because you're live streaming it, even if you broke the phone, it would still be up there on Facebook. And of course, the good thing about that is, as I said, I probably only break legs.
Yeah, and that's. I mean,
It's a
no
good
one
thing
wants.
because
No one wants to see someone pencil. You know, penciling where you land and like.
oh yeah.
No one wants to see that.
And I just want to state for the record that it's not something that I'm consider, just in case there's like some T's and C's that are talking about this. It's not something that I'm going to do, and it's not something that I want to do. I'm just saying,
Unless you donate over £1,000.
exactly. Unless you give money right now to me, no. I've just suddenly become aware of the fact that we have gone off in quite a significant tangent, and there's probably kind of Facebook policies and stuff that are talking about. I shouldn't be talking about this. I've taken a joke too far. It's not something I'm interested in doing. Just need to say that for the record. Good chance this episode won't stay on for long. Just
for multiple reasons.
For
Really.
multiple reasons. This is just one of them. But yeah. Anyway, sorry. See, I did go off on a tangent, just talking about my kind of confidence in myself. I know for a fact that the whole thing wasn't about the fact that I would want to do that. It was about the arrogance behind thinking that I would be able to do it quite successfully and not hurt myself. It was a. I'm also. Oh God, this is gone, isn't it? This
Do you know,
episode.
John? I feel like you're most happy in life whenever you're backpedaling. Because you do a lot of it.
I do a lot of back. I have to do a lot of backpedaling because my mouth just is that bit faster than my brain, I think.
But
And I
but
just don't.
whenever you backpedal, all you're doing is continually reminding people about what you just said. So speaking of live streaming stuff like that, have you ever seen the movie Spree?
Spree?
Spree.
I don't think I have.
It's you know your fella who plays Steve in Stranger Things.
Yes.
It's about him being a sort of a lifestyle streamer, just one of these streamers that doesn't actually have a body of work. Like they don't actually do anything. They're like a personality, right? It's like a real life reality show.
Right.
And
Yep.
he's got no numbers. So to bump his numbers, he's a Lyft driver, and he starts streaming the lifts, but then also poisoning the people that are in the back of his
All
car
right.
and
Wow. That's quite good.
recording them dying. Yeah, I think it's up on Netflix. It would be. I'm pretty sure his soul's owned by Netflix.
I think so. I think it is. Yeah. Probably in a bit of a deal. I'll give that a go. I will say now that we're talking about, and we will start the quest shortly. It's 32 minutes in. I watched a film at the weekend called Spontaneous, and that's on
Spontaneous.
Netflix.
Is it good?
It is really good. It probably is about 15, 20 minutes longer than it needs to be, but it's about a girl who's everyone in her class just for no reason whatsoever just starts to spontaneously explode.
I love that idea. That's
And then they're all
absolutely ridiculous.
so it starts off with just sitting in class sort of thing, and then suddenly you just hear this kind of thump, and then just hear a spray of blood, and I'm like, what's happening?
Please tell me that they never explain why that's happening.
Well, you watch it, you watch it.
Because there's nothing better than an absurdist film that just never explains itself. I love that. Even better if they start explaining it and the character that started explaining it exploded.
Just watch it. I loved it. I loved it. It's probably about there's a definite lull. So there's a point where it's about 20 minutes longer than I think it needs to be. They could have tightened it up a bit.
Is that where the explanation comes in?
Yeah, no, I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you anything more about it. But there's that mixture of kind of teenage narcissism and nihilism, and that people are just kind of, and it actually works. I thought it was a great film. If anybody's watching, if you've seen Spontaneous, tell me in the comments what you think. If you haven't seen it, give it a watch and tell me. But I really enjoyed it. That's all I'm saying. Right? And with that said, the movie review section of
do you know we do actually do a lot of that, like just talking about movies and TV. Probably more in total, probably more time spent doing that than actually questing, I think. Which I'm not mad about at all. It's not that I don't like questing, I just like talking pish.
Yeah.
It's pretty much why I have this show. It's just like why I'm part of it. I just come on to talk pish.
Absolutely, we do. I'm wondering if we should maybe do a TV and movie review show as well. We might get some honest to God question done in that.
Yeah, but then all we'll end up doing is getting an adventure book out and plugging through that instead.
Just watch others. Well, I did that Mental Ginger Show podcast on Sunday. And I did plug the podcast a wee bit there, the stream a wee bit there. I did mention Tight 10 and Titan.
I hope you didn't mention me.
Why?
Just because I'm a shadow. I don't actually exist.
I did mention you.
Of course, I'm joking. I'm joking.
It'd be
Of
really
course
weird
you,
if
of
I just
course you can mention me.
I do an online quest and kind of going, well, what would do you just read out loud and say, I'm going to go left?
If anyone's got anything to say in the comments, let us know. No,
Chris, if you
I
ever
guess I'm
die,
going.
that's what I'm going to do.
If I ever die,
I'm just gonna do a stream where I manage to have to bring myself off and bring myself off. I have to, I have to, I have
that's
to.
a posh. That's a really posh way to put it.
I'm,
Oh,
I'm
I'm going to bring myself
going to
off.
bring myself. I'm going to make myself reach climax. Uh, but so I'm going to just kind of take myself off in tangents, is what I was trying to say, and just read stuff and go. I'm probably just going to go left down this tunnel now. And then people go, it's not as entertaining when he's just doing it himself.
Especially since he doesn't read any of the text out loud. He just says the decisions he's going to make. I go left down this tunnel. I like
Yeah,
the red fungus.
because there's nobody to talk to. I would just go, oh, and just to make it extra classy.
That would be.
Before turning the page.
That's not a bad idea for a sketch, like a book reading show, but it's just a fella sitting in a chair reading a book, just to himself, with a fire roaring. He's just like, the only people that watch it are people with daddy issues.
I did. So now I'm talking about comedy again. Sorry, we will go into the question. But I did something recently where I had to take something I needed for comedy into a bag, and I decided to throw other stuff in as well.
Just
So
random stuff.
I just randomly picked stuff from Scott's room, and then so I took a Santa hat, a pirate hook, and a magnifying glass.
It would have been great if you had your cat in there.
That would be hard to let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, exactly.
But so I took that to a gig, and then I've actually subsequently done it again since. I took the exact same items. I took it to a gig, and I just said that what I usually do in an effort to get my family more interested in my comedy, because none of them actually care about the fact that I do comedy. What I do is I say, "Can I take this and put it in a bag?" So that in the hope that they're sitting there in the evening, kind of going, "What's John going to do with that?" And be
it's like it's like a visual prop to trap your family into asking about your material.
It's not, because I don't care. It was a visual prop designed to make the audience think that happens. It gets too complicated at this point. But then I took out the magnifying glass, I put the Santa hat on, and I used the hook. And then I just said, actually, we're actually a little bit ahead of time. So I think we can take, my family think tonight that I'm going to a gig and doing a little sketch about what it would be like if Santa was a detective pirate. And I said, we're actually running a wee bit ahead of time. So I think we can take 30 seconds out to imagine that together. And then so I just got up with the hat on, the magnifying glass and the hook, and I just went up right up to the microphone, and then just stood there for 30 seconds going.
It turns out Santa Pirate Holmes doesn't have much to say.
Doesn't have much to say. And then after 30 seconds, I just said, that was really great. I mean, that was as good as your imagination made it. Well done, you guys. And then just put it away and continued. Just shite. Just like this. Right. Anyway, 39 minutes in. Let's get questioning.
Well, hold on. Let me take us on one more final 20-minute tangent. Have you ever done shows with prop comedians? I mean, like dedicated prop comedians. Like they don't do anything else.
I have seen some great stuff.
Do you know what's hilarious? So every prop comedian that I've worked with only ever wants to go on second last or last, because they have to tidy up all their props after. I remember sitting, this was at the Fringe, I remember sitting, and there's a prop comedian, I won't name him, but there's a prop comedian up, and for time constraints or something, they had to go up like first or second. Oh my God. Seeing them sit at the back, just like staring at people. He's going to step on my stuff. He's going to step on my stuff. It's just as if anytime like someone accidentally kicks one of their props, you just see the eye twitch.
Well, I did the cabaret night in Arta recently,
Uh,
and was aware of the fact that the last act on before the break was going to be the girl doing burlesque,
uh,
and she kind of brought all her stuff out and had it kind of in the background, and I was so conscious of the fact that if I step back right now, I'm going to trip over a hula hoop.
I haven't. Do you know the only in comedy, the only burlesque act I ever saw didn't announce that they were going to be a burlesque act to the other people, and their like bet was that they went up. They got one of the lighting guys to disable one of the lights, and they went up in a mechanic's outfit to to work on the light, and then the music started.
And they
And then the crowd were like, "Ooh!" And he just started fucking going for it. He had a big inflatable banana and all.
I hope it's a real kind of caricature of a maintenance man, like kind of grey coveralls in the cab.
He had the coveralls. He was bald with glasses, and he looked so much like a maintenance man.
Fantastic. Again, I've got this kind of quiet confidence about me, but in my head, I'm thinking I could do burlesque.
It'd be a piece of piss.
Yeah,
All you need to know is how to feed a towel into your arse crack and then manage to get it past and feed it out the front so you can do the classic move.
no, absolutely. I mean,
I don't know why I picked a towel. That's a really bulky item. A full bath sheet. A full bath sheet.
Are we talking like a big kind of towel that you use for showering, or just like the one that looks like a glorified dishcloth?
the one that you get it round and there's that big like triangular gap. It's like a mini skirt.
Anybody that's just kind of logged in now, somebody going to the quest. I just need to state for the record, I think burlesque is a wonderful art form, and I know for a fact that I can do it. Just backpedaling.
He just loves it.
I do it. I just kind of love a backpedal. Do I? Just kind of, it's amazing. I will literally backpedal about anything as well, because we have said stuff that can be considered quite offensive to certain communities, and then like communities are actually specifically protected by laws and regulations, and I kind of go, I didn't mean that, and then I go back to it, and then now I'm just gonna, but I will backpedal about anything.
Almost
Seriously, that I thought I could do burlesque, but at the same time, I feel the need to backpedal about it. Just kind of, I'm really sorry.
You backpedaling about burlesque almost diminishes every other backpedal you've done because it's like if you'll backpedal about what's next, is he going to be backpedaling to like people that like jammy Dodgers?
I'm really
other biscuits are available.
Absolutely, just I know that there are kind of like shop like superstore kind of own brands that you can't call jammy Dodgers for a variety of reasons. We clearly have the shape and consistency of a jammy Dodger, and I don't mean to kind of diminish them in any way, shape, or form.
Jam rings.
I'm using jammy Dodger as a placeholder for a jammy ring.
We all like a jammy ring.
We all love a jammy ring. We all hate it, especially if we're just about to go out. Kind of going,
you want a jammy ring, you don't want a gammy ring.
Unfortunately, that comes with time.
Yeah, if it's jammy enough, eventually it'll go gammy.
Exactly. There's that kind of point where it goes from gam to jam.
Jamminess is next to gamminess.
Jamminess seems to be gamminess. Happiness
to the untrained eye, jamminess can be gamminess.
Exactly, that's it. To anyone that's not a gammy ring aficionado.
Aficionado? Aficionado?
Yes, I said. What did I say? Aficionado. I did.
Aficionado.
Aficionado. That's like aficionado. Too much tea.
Too much tea. Yeah, too much of that.
Aficionado.
That sweet belly warming tea.
Aficionado.
Aficionado.
I'm phonetically dyslexic now.
There's got to be a word for that. Don't you dare start backpedaling about that.
Apologies to anybody that's watching this who is actually
Is is
phonetically
is a
dyslexic.
fishy Andy still watching?
It sounds like Nando's have opened up another branch that deals more with fish than chicken.
No, it's
Let's go for an aficionado.
it's their legal office,
Oh my God.
aficionados.
There's no way they can make this much money from chicken. It's a money laundering front. Right, quest.
We'll get 15 minutes of questing done here.
15 minutes of fuck. I'm starting. When we did season 1 and you only lasted 7 episodes, I thought, oh, do you know what? And then season 2, we lasted, was it
11 or 12?
11 or 12? And it wasn't because you actually survived any longer. It's just you talked more.
We just got more confident in the fact that, like, realistically, this is probably more entertaining whenever we just talk pish. But at the same time, I do really enjoy doing the quest. So it's like, I almost feel like trying to push the quest is selfish because because I want to do the quest. But I feel like this is funnier. But I don't need to be funny. This isn't necessarily about being funny. Fishy Andy.
Fishy Andy.
I should have grabbed
Right.
also.
He's off. I thought you were away. What are you drinking?
Water. That's all I've got in the house.
I had a shot of rum, and I've just mostly been drinking tea. I haven't had a drink in over a week, and I had a really bad kind of headache today that I was worried was going to kind of get a bit migrainey because I started to get that kind of the visual stuff. I mean, I thought, there was a point about an hour and a half ago where I thought I might just need to tell Chris I'm not doing this, and I thought, do you know what, rum will fix it.
You can try and sell that to your line manager.
No, there's it.
It's like,
why not? And today, well, I thought I was going to get a migraine last night, so I just knocked some rum back.
Yeah, it's the only thing that helps it. It's sort of. Wonder if you could get that on prescription.
Oh, imagine.
It's like all the stoners that are like wishing they were in like California or whatever, so they can get like I got a gammy foot, weed for you.
Just gonna go. But that would be the thing as well, because one of the good things that came from kind of devolved Scotland was like free prescriptions. Obviously, some people do seriously take the piss.
Yes,
like for instance, I'm prescribed aspirin, which obviously just buy aspirin because I don't want to be a burden in the NHS for something I can get for 28p. So there's stuff like that. But imagine if they started kind of doing like just kind of going, you could get rum and prescription, and then just kind of go, and because we're in Scotland,
yeah, everyone needs it.
Imagine if you're asking for brand names as well. Just saying, here's a bottle of rum. You can, what is this?
you get the Gal Farm brand.
Gal Farm rum.
Gal Farm brandy.
Actually, my doctor said I really need Kraken.
It's the only thing that reacts with my migraines.
I've tried the non-labeled stuff, and it's just not doing it. I need.
Here, doctor, I can't hack this fucking Lidl's own brand methadone. Can you give me Smacko's brand?
Smacko's. Smacko's to me sounds like it'd be like a cereal, and you've got this kind of this fucked up looking alligator just.
Smacko's is with one good tooth and then the rest away.
It's gonna go there.
Smacko's brand.
I'm just gonna go. You've not had fun to even fun with a Smacko alligator.
It's the only cereal you have before bedtime.
So the advert would be just kind of going, "How are we going to get away from this alligator?" And it's just going to go. You need to run. Kind of, is that not what they say when you're trying to escape from an alligator? You need to kind of zigzag. Yeah, I couldn't think of the word. So zigzag kind of crisscross type sort of. How are we going to escape from this alligator? And it's just get like one tooth in the left. You just go, stick to the right. Junkie alligator trying to gum you to death.
You see, that's the thing. The alligator don't bother with you unless you try and take it. Smack goes, and then it's after you like a shot.
They're always after me, Smackos.
Silly kids, or silly alligator smacks for kids.
That's junkie alligator that because he's trying to gum you to death looks like he's also got ecky jaw.
That's echoes. Echoes. It's a dolphin on it. That's like it's a dolphin that's like. I can't even do the noise. No, my mouth's not lubricated enough.
Did you just make an Echo the Dolphin joke?
I made an Echo the Dolphin reference, like probably 30 years
after. The only two people that got this are the two people on the stream. Everyone else is going, what?
Yeah, I remember having a Sega Mega Drive.
Right, we're 51 minutes in. Let's get 9 minutes of question in, Chris.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So, as we discussed previously on Titan.
Previously plus 50 minutes.
So what? I'll just reread this so that you know what your choice was, right? Because what's happened is you've just been kind of pulled through a black hole. We won't worry about the physics behind that kind of smearing you across the universe, right?
Yeah, we did get into that last week.
We did get into that last week. We don't have time to do it now. We need to keep this tight.
That's always.
Exactly. You and the other members of your crew are regaining consciousness. Again, you hit the communicator and call for a systems damage report. All the systems appear to be intact until engineering reports that the warp drive engines are dead. You're floating in space, but your drive reactors should be operational in about 20 to 30 minutes, which is why we did the 52 minutes here. So that was... Your navigation officer is bewildered. He cannot identify your whereabouts, and the computer reports are that you are in uncharted space. Your science officer is running an event analysis, and you appear to have gone through the black hole, which I kind of ruined for any decision. Through a dimension warp, and you're now in what seems to be a parallel universe. I don't think the person that wrote that said their understanding of physics or parallel universes, but it doesn't matter.
Nope. He was just writing about works.
After a 53-minute delay, you regain the warp drive. Long-range scans indicate 3 solar systems ahead. And this was your choice last week, of which 2 may have intelligent life. So your choices were to press on towards the life-bearing system ahead, turn to port towards the other life-bearing system, or turn to starboard towards the barren system. Anybody that's watching can tell us whether I get port or starboard right there, and I'll justify what I did.
I feel like I should make this decision quickly because we don't have a great deal of time left. So I'm gonna go full ahead, straight ahead, keep her straight and true.
Press towards the life-bearing system. Imagine if you died here.
First choice. It's another black hole. This isn't a nice one.
You increase speed towards a dull blue planet and start to orbit it. Short-range scanners indicate that it is a life-bearing planet. The most heavily populated area appears to be a city in the center of a large island. You've got the choices of beaming down into the center of this city and taking any 3 other crew members with you, or just leave orbit and continue onwards.
Beam us down.
Beam us down. Who do you want to beam down on your away team?
Oh, for choices, right.
This is exciting. You can take 3 people with you, so obviously you need to go. I don't know why you need to go.
Well, you know, she's not got much time left as old Tarkin, so she just wants to see the universe. All right, okay. I think
absolutely
the captain. Right, so it's 3 and the captain.
The captain and 3 others. So yourself and 3 other people with you.
My feeling is, off the top of my head, we should go the captain. We'll go Mork. We'll not blow her load on Cork just yet because she's got 12 skill. And if we're going to lose somebody this early, it's going to be Mork. So I say,
Okay.
Mork, the
That's your
security officer.
For anyone that doesn't remember, that's your first security officer. Security guard.
We want, security guard. Security officer is Rusty Johnson.
That's right.
And then we're gonna bring Dr. Springfinger. And because
that's the medical officer.
That's the medical officer. And because he's due a walk, we're gonna bring Onion BSC.
Who is your dog?
Yes, also the science officer. We couldn't get anybody else.
So you've got security. So you've got Mark, Dr. Springfinger.
Yeah, because we, in case we get hurt, we want a doctor. Onion BSC.
And Onion BSC, who's your science officer? Maybe you go down here and treat your science officer like a god.
Who's a good boy, Onion? Come on and we'll do some science. Hey?
So you beaming
some
down?
Science, Onion? Aye, we're beaming down.
This is more exciting than left down a cave, isn't it?
David Cloister, Ganymede Titan, yes sir, I've been around. Beam us down! And he beams us down.
We should do it. We should do a beaming effect. We're beaming down to the planet. You materialize on the planet's surface, realize that you can't breathe the air, and die. No, I'm only joking.
Onion, no!
Onion can breathe for some reason.
Onion's fine.
This is dog air. You materialize on the planet's surface and look around. You're in a wide street of some kind, which is completely deserted. Buildings of sorts line the street, and behind you a large building stands at the end of the road. The buildings are strange structures. They are a multitude of shapes and sizes and all look incomplete. So here's what they look like. Whoa.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
They look a bit kind of Dr. Seuss, don't they?
They look a wee bit like how I picture what's that city at the Mountains of Madness? I should know this. I fucking drew that city.
Yeah, the biggest problem that Lovecraft has is he makes all of the kind of names so impronounceable that you quickly kind of go, all right, aye.
Yeah, and also he had such a hard on for architecture that he just explained everything in such incredible detail.
But he did that to the detriment sometimes of just kind of going, he would end stories with, and then I heard a high pitched scream from the other side of the wall. Kind of going, all right, is that it?
Yeah, after all that geometry.
Someone screaming, my eyes, not my eyes. And you're going, you just did 40 pages about how the cave looked.
you mentioned every slate on the gabled roof.
I'm just gonna hit. Suddenly someone screams, no! The end.
You fool! Dr. Carter is dead!
I never did discover what lay underneath the tomb of.
I found that drawing of that city.
Hey, yeah, it's much better than this. Apologies to if the person that drew it. I mean, that's good as well, but I mean, yours is better. So that's it.
Well, I even put two wee elder things there singing.
See, that's good. Loving it. You need to start doing artwork for this show.
Yeah, but then it would feel like work.
No, right? Because we put so much effort into every other aspect of it.
So, I take the old machine.
So we're now at the hour mark. So I don't know if you want this to be. It would feel really bad if this was a cliffhanger, having like made one choice.
We're
Dude,
gonna have
I'll
to.
give you a
I've got
choice.
things to do tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. You get. We'll definitely keep it. Anyone that's watching, it'll be a lot tighter next week. Been saying this for 3 seasons now. So your choice. So basically, you've been down in this city, and your choice, and this is going to be a cliff. We don't even have time for a deleted scene because you've made no choices. Uh well, that's not true. You went onto this life bearing system, so you have made
Yeah.
choices. So your choices now are to continue down the road looking for signs of life, approach the large building behind you, or go to one of the smaller buildings. So we'll find out what you choose. So you got a week to decide. If
Yeah.
anybody's like, if anybody in the comments uh, has any idea about what Chris should do, then just realise as well, we might not be doing an episode next week.
Oh yeah, we might not. Well, we could push it to Friday or Saturday, or we could. I was about to say we could do it Sunday, but I'm actually coming down to get pissed with you on Saturday, so
Yeah,
maybe that's not a
we're
good
having a
idea.
drink on Saturday. We could just we could take that. We could live stream it for a pub on Saturday.
The
That's
Weatherspoons
right.
shouting over everyone.
Yes. If you get this, if you die during this quest, you have to buy a pint for everybody.
Oh fuck! Oh no! Oh, we're no player. You know, the other thing as well. So yeah, if you have any help on that decision, or indeed if you decide to watch the movie Spontaneous, feel free to leave a comment about either of those topics.
If you have been affected by any of the issues that we've discussed in this episode, there's a
Yeah,
free phone
actually,
number.
this episode more than any other, people could have been affected by the things that we talked about.
Unnatural body confidence. If you've been affected by unnatural body confidence,
If you accidentally sent pictures of your girlfriend to your mum,
please forward those images to us now.
yeah, and we'll make sure your dad gets them.
Make sure your dad gets them. Guys, this has been Tight 10 and Titan. This could be our longest quest yet.
By some margin.
I promise next week we'll keep it tight. Chris, I know that you were keen to get quest in there. And we did a clear 10 minutes on bus timetables.
Was it a full 10 minutes?
Probably not. I've never done a full 10 minutes of anything in my life.
We maybe should just start doing a stream where we just review movies and films. Wait, there's the same thing. Movies and TV
exactly.
shows.
I'm just thinking, imagine if we had to like collate kind of scenes from every episode to kind of make an advert for it. What would you choose?
They would have to. I mean, at least half of the scenes would have to be quests, but then they'd have to be interspersed with tangents. And even then, that would be false advertising because the ratio is about 3/4 shite talking.
The tangent quest ratio is slightly off.
It's exactly the opposite of what you expect it to be.
I still think the name Titan 10 and Titan is the most ironic title for anything I've ever come up with in my life. And it was with the best intentions. I thought, do you know what? Well, we can really keep this tight.
You know, I've got one final tangent before we kick off. I was watching. It's not even a good one. I was watching Dimension 20, a show that we've mentioned many times on the stream before that me and John are somewhat addicted to now. And it's basically
I'm hoping
just live
Dimension 20
streams.
do the same for us.
Yeah,
Because we're picking
that
up
would be
Dimension 20. It'd be really nice if they gave us a shout out.
Yeah, I don't know if Brennan's heard about this show, but maybe. But I remember I was watching the season that I'm on right now, and usually, like, whenever I learned this through watching this episode, the cast are like talking amongst themselves, and one of them suddenly asks Brennan a question, and the camera cuts to him right as he's put a bit of salami in his mouth. He just goes, and they're like, they start laughing at him, and he's like, he goes, sometimes they talk and it's snack time, but it was not snack time.
Brilliant. I do love Dimension 20. I'm loving it. I've actually fundamentally failed you. I've not watched any Dimension 20 in about 4 days.
Oh wow! I was watching
I know
some while I was eating my dinner.
I'm disgusted at myself. Just don't have enough time.
Yeah. I was watching some while I was eating
Watching
my dinner, and then I switched to Hateful Eight while I drew. I don't know why. I don't know why that was. I don't know why that was my drawing movie.
Absolutely. So just for anybody that thinks that this is all we do is like non-stop balls to the walls question, we have other interests too. I know that we get right down into the nitty gritty right away, and we do an honest to God question graft, but there's more to it than that.
Yeah. Also, can we say a little something, because last week in Dungeons and Dragons my character died, and so I I
Oh,
made him into a little angel.
oh,
His name was Fekon Smeric, and he died because he fell 70 feet off a waterfall and then got smashed into giblets by a frost giant. Or or was it Jotun? Jotun, I believe, is the term.
And he didn't even have his phone on it with Facebook Live it.
He didn't even 70 feet, and he didn't break a single leg though.
Not a single leg, just the rest of him. His legs are surprisingly intact.
The impact was so strong that the person closest to him had their legs broke as well. His legs were so broken that the nearest two legs had to break as well, just to accommodate the total leg break.
I wasn't even involved in this question in any way, shape, or form, and I felt a bit of a twinge in my foot.
You felt a twinge in your foot, and then you felt a twinge everywhere when the frost giant crushed him with that giant axe. It's an axe literally the size of his own body.
The frost giant's body?
No, my character's body.
All right, okay. I was just kind of going, that's a hell of a just frost giant carrying a frost giant size. So for anyone else as well, we always obviously do a bit of advertising too. If anybody wants to buy us a drink on Saturday, we are going out into Glasgow on Saturday, and we'll probably be kicking around. We'll probably be kicking around the Counting House on Saturday.
At 9 or about 8 p.m. you'll see a signal flare go up. That's where we are.
I'm just going to imagine. What would be great is if we met up and then we just started talking shite for about 75% of it, and then decided we needed to start drinking. Let's get down to honest to go drinking now.
I swear, John, we'll start drinking in a minute, but just let me say one more thing.
Just one more
about the movie Split.
Do you know, I imagine it will probably do that a lot more successfully. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. Having a great time. I don't know if any of our viewers have got any value add out of it whatsoever. But again, you know, part of me doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care, and it's not like it's not like we get paid for this. So
yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, if you do want to pay us, as I said, Counting House Saturday, I'm hoping that we don't need to buy a single drink. What we should do is do a live stream where we tell them a table number, because the Witherspoons app, people can send drinks to your table.
Oh wow! But you also open the possibility for people to send like oysters, and I don't know if the Witherspoons doesn't have oysters.
I don't think Witherspoons do oysters. I don't know. You'd never trust a Witherspoons oyster, as my gran used to say.
You probably would get an oyster liqueur from Witherspoons before you got an oyster.
They do a peanut butter flavored whiskey liqueur.
That doesn't sound like a good idea.
It's really good. If you like peanut butter and you like whiskey, then that's a drink for you, my friend.
I like peanut butter more than I like whiskey.
No, to be honest, it tastes of peanut butter.
Oh, Well, maybe that's the play then. I can't imagine it's good for the old breath, but then whiskey isn't either.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just kidding on. Is that peanut butter?
I only drink menthol liqueur. Oh, have you ever tried menthol liqueur? It's disgusting.
I'm right. I'm right. Imagine. I was just gonna go. It tastes disgusting, but you're always ready for action.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it wakes you up. Yeah, it's like it. I'm convinced it's just the Listerine that isn't good enough to get into Listerine.
So the stuff they haven't managed to remove the alcohol content. So do you take a shot? If you see somebody you like, do you take a shot and then get another shot and rub it under your arms and just get ready?
Oh, why? Because people famously put mint in their armpits. No, 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 no,
Well,
no. For that you need something more aromatic.
you throw into the air and walk through.
Fuck me. I
We
can
were
picture
going
my dad doing that.
on that on that note, we said 20 minutes ago we were finishing up, and here we are, guys. That was episode 2 of season 3 of Tight 10 at Warp 10. I personally don't think any of the crew are ever going to get home, but we'll find out together. Maybe not next week, but we'll work it. I could probably
Maybe
do
next week. Maybe someday next week.
someday next week. We'll do it. I could probably do. I can do most nights. I don't have the same kind of social calendar as you do.
My social calendar is all tabletop RPGs.
That's fine. That's again, that's still a social calendar.
I do meet people.
I'm trying to meet less people. You're, I'm trying every year. I try to kind of better things. So I try and read more books this year than I did last year. I tried to do more of such and such. But every year I try to meet less people. And the pandemic caused a massive drop off, which is now unfortunately subsequently made trying to meet less people every year a lot more difficult.
Yeah. You've that dip is it's
The dip
affecting
was
your
too
average.
significant. I was slowly but surely becoming completely antisocial, and then 2020 stroke 2021 really fucked it for me because it
Yeah,
is no longer the natural curve that it could have been.
it's
So
like a
that
reverse bell curve now.
yeah, and people are saying I've not seen you in 2 years, and in my head I'm thinking, well, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, let's
But at
go
the
another
same time,
two.
yeah, you also can't say that out loud. So you have to kind of go, all right, we need to catch up sometime in the hope that they never arrange anything. But I'm
You
looking forward to
mutter it.
catching up with you on Saturday. I mean, I'll do it, but I mean, I'll be there. I'll be there in body, but not necessarily in spirit.
Yeah,
I'm actually genuinely excited about it. I'm actually totally up for it. Let's do it.
it's gonna be great.
Saturday. Saturday. I'm going to bring this with us. We're going to do a live one.
Absolutely, we have to
We'll just,
turn
we'll
it into a
just, we'll
drink.
just,
Turn it into a drinking game.
I'm up for that. Actually, I'm up for that. Let's do it. Right. Anyway, this has been Tight 10 at Warp 10, season 3, episode 2. We'll see you next week. This has been Chris Ashworth.
This has been John Carruthers.
See you next week.